Mridul, how you are controlling the main engine?
So we have two main engines. This one is port side, that one is starboard side.
Hi guys, welcome on board Below Mike Niner. In this video, you will see the engine control room of the ship of this large LNG carrier. And with me today to explain this engine control room and various controls of the engine and other machinery, Mridul Yadav. He is a second engineer on board and he is also my batchmate from the Maritime Institute, and we are together on this LNG carrier. We will discuss with him plenty things, and this video is very important for upcoming marine engineers to know about the machineries on board and also how it is controlled from the engine control room. So with me is Mridul Yadav. So welcome Mridul. How long you have been on board this ship?
Almost 6 months that I have been on this ships. It is almost the end of my contract. Maybe within a week or two, I'll be going back home. This is the first time I'm making this video with Push-Up. It is my pleasure to be part of this video and to explain and to tell and impart my knowledge to all of you guys, and hopefully it will help you in some way or the other in your studies or getting to know what happens on board and how it is done. So I'll explain in brief about engine control room and whatever we can do from engine control room on board this particular ship.
As you have seen my previous video in which we have explained all the machineries on board, there we have seen practically how the machines are working, and here we will see how the machines are operated from these screens and controls which you can see behind me. Like these are the telegraphs from where we are controlling the main engines. Two main engines are there. These two are the telegraphs for the same, and also we will see other machineries because these all are screens. These screens are very helpful in operating machines to control the parameters of the machines. So before we will proceed, I want to remind you again that this video is very helpful for the marine engineers and marine engineering officers. You will learn as many as things on board which you will not see in theoretical classes. First, we will start with the main engine. So Mridul, how you are controlling the main engine from?
As you can see, this here and that one. So we have two main engines. This one is port side, that one is starboard side. So this full panel is called auto chief panel, or you can call it telegraph panel. So this one is for port side, that one is for starboard side. So as we are giving command from bridge, for example, dead slow ahead, dead slow astern. So we follow the telegraph accordingly and we put this telegraph to dead slow ahead. The engine will go to dead slow head or dead slow astern as the order we receive from the bridge. Then on this particular screen, we have main engine RPM, at what RPM the engine is running. We have fuel index. Then we have all the limiters. For example, we have scavenge limiter, torque limiters. We have fuel index limiters, engine power limiter. So all these limiters you can see on the screen and you can assess at what particular load the engine is running. We also have different screen insides. You have to go inside if you want to change parameters of the engine. If you want to look at particular parameter of the engine, you have to go inside the panel and you need to check which particular parameter you want to look into. Then you can also change the setting parameters of the main engine. For example, you say you want to change the scavenge pressure alarm, or you want to change the fuel pressure alarm, lube oil pressure alarm. All that has to be done. You need to go inside this panel, you need to change the setting, and after changing the setting you can change the set point of that particular parameter.
I think this much information is good for the beginners to know about the main engine, how it is operating on board. Before we proceed further, I wanted to ask now, For now, at what RPM we are running?
For now, we are running at 65 RPM. The set point is 68, but we are doing 65 RPM since engine load is already at 8200 kilowatts. That is the maximum power limitation we have because of the implementation of new regulations, which you already know, carbon intensity indicator and all these things, EEXI, EEDI. All because of all these regulations, we need to reduce the carbon footprint, and to achieve that, the IMO has implemented, CII ratings for each ships. So in order to comply with those ratings, they have reduced the engine power on this particular ship. There are many other methods to achieve those ratings, but on this particular ship, they have put engine power limiter, so we cannot go more than 68 RPM or 8200 kilowatt. So now we are doing 8200 kilowatt, but the RPM is still 65.
This is all about engines. After that, I wanted to ask you, how is the power distributed and generated on board?
Regarding power generation, as you all know, on every vessel we have generators on board. If not generators, we have turbo generators, we have shaft generators, we have diesel generators. So only the prime mover is changing, but the main machinery, which is alternator producing power, is the same. So here on board this particular ship, we have 4 diesel generators which are running and producing power, and you can see, everything is working and the power is being transferred to all these machineries with those diesel generators.
And also I wanted to ask, which of the machineries here on board are consuming the most of the power from the generators?
This is an interesting question. Especially this vessel, it has a pre-liquefaction plant. So when we are moving, the LNG is boiled off. So whatever boil off is there, we are not consuming it because there are no particular machinery which are designed to consume that boil off. So in order to control the tank pressures and temperatures, we need to control that boil off, and whatever boil off that is generated, we need to re-liquefy it. And for that, we have a big re-liquefaction plant as we have on shore. So that is the main machinery which is consuming most of the power on this ship, around I think 6000 kilowatts. And one diesel generator is 4000 kilowatts. So total, our generator can only supply 16,000 kilowatts, and out of that 6,000 kilowatt is only for re-liquefaction plant.
So that's a huge amount of power it is consuming.
Correct.
This re-liquefaction plant.
Yes.
So re-liquefaction plant, can you give the brief of that, what it is doing? It is in the scope of the cargo engineer, but he is about to get promoted. That's why he has a very good hold of it. Give a gist or give a brief idea. So Mradul will explain us what it generally does.
For re-liquefying, you need 2 mediums. Correct. Like for example, if you want to cool the air, you need to cool the air with the means of another gas, another medium, or something else. So like AC, we have refrigerant gas, which is cooling the air. For re-liquefying LNG, we need to re-liquefy it with some gas or liquid which has boiling point less than LNG. For example, LNG boiling point is -163. So to re-liquefy LNG, we need to have a gas which has lower boiling point than LNG. So what here on board, what we are using is nitrogen. In that system, one loop is of nitrogen and another loop, it is of LNG. So the medium of cooling is nitrogen. So for nitrogen, we have compander. So the compander is of 3 stages. We are compressing the nitrogen gas in 3 stages, and after that we have an expander. So after compressing it to 3 stages, we are expanding the nitrogen gas, and that cold nitrogen gas passing through the cold box is cooling the boil off generated from the tank, which is LNG, and that liquid LNG is again put back into the tanks. So in simple words, it is like that. In words, it is very easy, but when you are actually doing it yourself, it is very complicated.
It's very difficult to do. Okay.
As you all know, on LNG ships, we have 2 types of control systems. One is IACS and another one is DACS. So on board this particular ship, we have DACS. Like if you can see this screen, this is showing port main engine parameters. So all parameters you can check here. This is jacket temperature, this is piston cooling, oil temperature, scavenge temperature, exhaust temperatures. On this particular screen, you can't do much, but little you can do is we have a clutch system here. You can, put the clutch oil pump to manual, start one pump, stop another pump. And downside, we have alarm indication panel. If any alarm related to port main engine is activated, we can see the activated alarm in this column. And if there is a slowdown, you can see in this column. And the same screen we have for starboard main engine. Now we'll move to generators. So this is our power management system. So in this power management system, as you can see, we have 4 generators. All these generators can be started from here, stopped from here. You can take on load. You can, divide the load in asymmetric manner. For example, you can put one generator to 10% and other generators to 50% depending on the load. As you can see, in this power distribution system, we have 2 main bus bars having high voltage 6.6 kV, which is being divided to low voltage switchboards, number 1 and number 2. And from there, it is going to cargo switchboard, emergency switchboard, and all these areas. What I told you, that the main power consumer is our nitrogen compander, which is part of reliquefaction plant, which is running right now, and boil off gas compressor, which is transferring the boil off gas from the cargo tank to the cold box and reliquefying the LNG and putting back it to the tank is also running right now. Then we can see individual generators. For example, here, same like main engine, you can observe all the parameters. You can check exhaust temperatures, fuel oil temperature, lube oil pressure, lube oil temperature, everything related to that particular generator. You can look into this particular screen, and any alarms related to that generator will also be visible in this screen. Then we'll move ahead. We'll move to generator engine FO service diagram. So in this, you can see we are taking fuel oil from HFO service tank, and from here, generator engine fuel oil supply pump is taking suction. One of the pump is running, another one is standby. So if you want to change over the pump from 1 to 2, 2 to 1, this you can do directly from here. No need to, go to the local side, change over, start another pump. Everything you can do from here. So just you need to put it to manual, start this pump, put it to duty, and then stop another pump. Same you can do for booster pump. And it is very easy to understand. We have the whole fuel oil system diagram related to generator in front of our eyes. And each parameter for that particular fuel oil system is in front of our eyes. And if there is anything abnormal, we know where to look into and what problem is there, and we can rectify that problem very easily. Then we have, if you want to change over sea chest, you are going into port. Now we are into low sea chest and we want to move to high. So just click on this valve, put it to open, the high sea chest will open, and later on you can shut low sea chest. So many of the valves on this particular ship can be controlled from ECR. So we have automatic valves, we have piston valves, everything can be controlled from here. Then we have fuel oil transfer. So here we have aft transfer pumps. These are forward transfer pumps. So all these pumps can be started and stopped from here. All the valves related to fuel oil transfer system can be operated from ECR. Then we'll move on to next screen. All the compressors can be started and stopped from ECR. If you want to start, like for example, this is on auto, but you want to start it on manual, just click on this icon, put it to manual, and just press start. Then we have this fire and bilge diagram. If there is a fire, if you want to pump out any bilge. So all this fire and GS pump are connected to our bilge system. You can take suction from the bilge well, put it directly overboard, or put it to the bilge well or clean drain tank if you want to pump out. Everything can be done from this particular screen. Only few valves related to that particular line you have to open, start the pump and finish.
So as you have seen, this is automation. This is advancement in technology, that from a single screen you are operating generators, you are operating alternators, you are operating main air compressors, purifier, fuel oil system, fuel oil pumps, valve, everything you are operating from a single screen. So this is automation, and for this we need a proficient engineer to operate all this, because as automation will be there are chances of failure also, there are chances of maintenance also, and there are chances of troubleshooting also. So the troubleshooting is the main part, because as much as automation is there, it is very difficult to troubleshoot the problem. Have you ever experienced such a problem, like you have got some alarm or you have got some problem with some machinery and you are troubleshooting it, and it took a long time? Sometimes it happened to you.
Usually it keeps on happening because you always can't rely on automation. These parameters, whatever we see here, you know, the sensors might fail at any time. You don't know. And you always cannot rely on these parameters and think that everything is okay. So M0, daily rounds, these are critical parts of your daily routine that you can't miss. Every day you have to take rounds religiously. You have to take rounds, because here what you see, you know, you might see that everything is okay, but locally when you go there and everything is screwed up. There has been instances where you know, we were troubleshooting for like 2-3 days and still couldn't figure out what is the problem, and then, you know, you deduce the problem one by one, you know, you check one thing, okay, this is not, you know, what is causing this. Then you move into other, you try to segregate what could be cause which is causing this particular problem. So one by one you need to reduce, you need to deduce, and then come to the conclusion ki yes, this, because of this it is happening. We had a problem related to main air compressors. We were trying to figure out for 3, 4, 5 days. We were not able to solve it. Every time we are opening head, checking valves, opening coolers, but still were not able to do so. And finally we overhauled the valves and found that slight, only very fine metal piece is there inside, which you cannot even see with naked eye. We were just lucky that our hands rubbed on the plate and we found that this slight metal particle was causing this valve to open and the compressor was not working properly.
Like he told a case study regarding air compressor. So this way you need to take care of your machinery. So life on board is not easy as such, but to make it easy you have to work diligently and routine tasks needs to be done.